Welcome to another episode of Money 911, your first responder in the world of finance. I'm your host, Kris Miller, and today we have a truly inspiring guest, Roderick Jefferson. Roderick is an internationally recognized business-focused speaker with over 20 years of experience in sales leadership. He is the author of the best-selling book, Sales Enablement 3.0. The blueprint to sales enablement excellence, and has shown his dynamic voice at numerous prestigious events. Today, Roderick will share his insights on overcoming life's obstacles and how adopting the 2% mentality can lead to profound personal and professional transformation. Let's dive in. Roderick, it's so fabulous to have you here, be able to share this great conversation.
Kris, thanks for having me. I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah. Well, we met at an event and I just had such a fabulous conversation with you.
Thank you.
That I got to have you on my show. And, you're a step in the right direction, a way that you think about things. And I'm just curious on, how a bit about your background, what sparked your interest in sales and leadership, right?
I'm like most people. I fell into sales. I had gone to school. I was a radio and television broadcast major. My goal was actually to sit on the desk at ESPN, right? Well, clearly that hasn't happened. I saw later that, I was going to start in like Minot, North Dakota. Then I might get transferred to New Orleans. They get transferred to Modesto. And I was like, no, that's going to take too long.
Yeah.
And so the woman who is now my wife of 34 years, her family worked at AT&T in human resources. And she said, we can get you a job. And I was like, all right, cool. She said, but you're going to have to be in sales. I was like, but I don't sell. I just like to talk to people. And she said, well, just go talk to people and tell them about the stuff and hopefully they'll buy. And it worked out well. So I went in, I did really well. I got promoted to President's Club a couple of times. Then I got promoted into sales training because I had a bunch of templates and kind of rudimentary things. And I was talking to my VP of sales and I said, what if I could do two things? One, I can get people up faster on selling. And secondly, I can give you the best gift that you can ever have. And that is that you have more people going to President's Club than you have budget for. And he said, well, then you've got a new job. So I went into sales training, and along the way, it's turned into sales enablement, sales effectiveness, etc. And even wrote a book on it that's now become a bestseller. So it's been one of those things where while I was a radio and television broadcast major, I never really lost my roots because I was able to use some of that, charisma and conversational style, things of that sort, while I was selling, that I now use in my keynotes when I'm up on the stage. So it's come full circle now.
Nice. Well, maybe share you have a lot of empathy and how it's played in successful sales interaction. I mean, you go a step beyond than the normal quote sales, right?
Thank you. Well, I think it's because sales has gotten a bad name. I don't think it's a bad profession. When you say sales, most people think of car sales or old school, right? Hey, my manager says if you come today, we can give you a discount. That's not it at all. My goal is to change the way that sales is viewed, and that is get away from selling and move towards helping. And that's where the empathy comes in. Put yourself in that person's conversation and in their shoes. And the other piece is, I always tell salespeople, there's one question that is paramount that most of you forget to ask. You find out everything about the company. You go listen to their recordings. You read their 10K, their 10Q, all that. But you leave out the most important question. And that is, so Mr. and Mrs. Customer, by working with my company only, how will that help you personally? Can I help you get your name in lights, get you a promotion, get a new job, get out of the doghouse? Become a friendly with them. You may not have to be friends, but be friendly with them. And that changes everything because when I'm talking to you, we all know when you're being sold. No one wants to be sold, right? That's why we've got the whole spam filters on the phone today, right? Because you see that and you're like, oh no, somebody's going to try to sell me.
Yep.
Instead, stop giving presentations, start having conversations. That changes everything.
Very good. Yeah, definitely. That's the whole energy of the whole world. It's, the compassion and caring.
Absolutely.
And you have such a unique concept, the 2% mentality. So maybe explain what that means and how it's influenced your approach to overcoming obstacles.
Well, it came from 2.5 years ago. So to be specific, October 28th, 2021. I was down in LA. I was doing a site visit for an upcoming event. I went to bed like every other night. And unfortunately, I had a stroke in the middle of my sleep. Now, here's the hard thing, Kris. 98% fatality rate for sleep strokes. Thank God that I woke up. So that meant that I was in the 2% club. And so that gave me an opportunity now to go tell people my story of how it happened, that resilience, that grit, that fight of getting back. I lost my ability to see, to speak. I lost my left arm and leg. I had to learn how to use a spoon again, how to tie my shoes, how to walk without a limp, how to have conversations. And I had aphasia, stuttering really, really bad, to the point to where you literally couldn't tell what I was saying. Now imagine that as a keynote speaker and I can't talk. So I was in the hospital for 3 weeks at the time and had a near-death experience. And so I'm lying there and I was having a hard time breathing all day. And I just felt like I was getting worse and worse. And then suddenly I hear code blue, and woo, woo, woo. All the lights are flashing and it's my room number. So in comes the rush of doctors and nurses. And all of a sudden I hear beep. I'm flatlined. So now I float up to the corner of the room. I'm looking down on my body, watching the doctors and nurses, chest compression. They're sucking fluids out of me. They're trying to get me back revived, but I'm still flatlined. But here's the beautiful thing of it. I look to my left and I see my late mom. My mom died in 1999. And I look over and I said, Mama, I guess it's time. I've done everything that I can do here. I'm ready to go home with you. And she said, and I remember her words vividly. She said, no, baby. I was sent here to tell you that you're going to be okay and they're going to figure this out. I said, good, because I got questions. Mom, where'd you go? Now I'm sucked back into my body, but I'm still flatlined. And I'm a little angry that I got pulled back, but I'm also happy because now I get to hang out with my family. So now I'm flatlined and I hear them rubbing the paddles together to shock me. And I hear the one word that nobody ever wants to hear. Clear. I was like, oh, no. This can't be good. This is not going to be a good thing. And so all the muster I could, and certainly I hear beep, 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 beep. I reach out and I grab his arm before he comes down to shock me. And they pull me back. And after that, it was a series of months of living uninsured because I couldn't swallow because the muscles in my tongue had gotten so soft. So I lost 40 pounds. I had to learn how to walk, talk, all that all over again. And I remember all those nights where I was lying in the bed, and I remember I prayed the same prayer every single night for 6 months. It wasn't make me better. It wasn't, can I do this? Spare me. It was just a simple question. God, can I please wake up tomorrow? All I prayed for. And thankfully, he acquiesced and he allowed me to do that. And now that I'm back, I call it stroke to stage. I'm back on the stage. I'm doing keynotes again. I'm flying all over the world. And I even have a brand new 5-month-old first granddaughter. So I now understand why I'm back.
That is so inspiring. And when you first told me that story, I had been listening because my family member just got her angel wings, and I was pretty much in a grief shock, although I've gone through it with lots of family, but it was consolidated and led into that conversation of many, many people, but nobody's talking about it, which is just a conversation of, there is life after death and everything that's real. And there you are right in front of me talking about your experience and
Yep.
masterfully integrating that inside of everything you're doing.
And I'll thank you for that. I will say I did not see a bright light for those that are curious. What I did see is at my age, the eyes don't work like they used to. And so I'm almost blind without these glasses. I didn't have my glasses on. I
Yeah.
saw the most vibrant oranges, greens, blues,
Yeah.
whites in that room that I've ever seen in my life.
That's what I've heard. I've heard the colors are incredible. You know, I've had a few experiences. I won't go into it now either that are with
Mhm,
shared experiences with people as they were making their transition.
mhm.
And this is the neatest thing for me because in my business, I'm talking about death and taxes, right? And
Right.
safe money, right? Living trusts and long term care and all of these very hard subjects. And when I realized it's like forbidden, you're not supposed to talk about it, I realized, I got to talk about this.
It's one of those things that's going to happen to all of us, right?
Yeah,
What's this? What's the statement? We're all dying from the first breath that we take.
that's right.
So I would rather be prepared for it. I don't think
Yeah,
anybody's ever ready, but I
no,
think you can be prepared.
yeah. And not have fear around it. And
Absolutely.
it changes the perception. It's like putting on another pair of glasses. Look, you're not, what's that saying? There's no U-Haul behind the hearse or
That's
something.
right. Absolutely.
Then you
No, you're
go,
so right, Chris. It changed my perspective on everything. Relationships, conversations, friends,
yeah,
work, life, temper.
yeah,
It boils down to four things. My four F's. And that is faith, family, friends, and fun. Everything else is on the
that's
peripheral
good.
now.
That's good. Yeah, you added the fun. I got to put more of that in there.
Isn't it funny that as adults, the older
Gee,
we get, we seem to get away from
yeah,
fun?
yeah,
That's when you would think we would want to have more fun, right? Gives us a
right.
chance to be a kid all over again. Because I
Totally.
don't know about you, but all the stuff that parents and others told me, this whole being a grown up thing, either A, they lied, or B, they left a whole lot out. Because this is not what I thought being an adult was going to be.
I know. Me too. Me too. But that journey and that consciousness really does change. I mean, even just me visualizing or thinking into the story of
Mhm.
everything that I've gone through, I'm way more conscious with people like could be the last moment. And I'm almost now in a life review, a constant life review. It's like, wow, you were a little short with that technical
Yeah. Yeah.
support person, I'll get impatient. Like, okay, better work on the patience.
How can you not? We all have said and heard for our entire lives, none of us are promised tomorrow.
Yeah,
But you don't know what that means until you're in a situation like me where at some one point I had no tomorrow. And
right.
so when you do come back, things that used to bother me and used to just send me over the top, they don't even hit my radar. Things that were a priority important to me, I don't
Yeah,
even want to do anymore.
right.
And the things where I was ultra conservative, and I don't mean politically, I mean just in
Mhm.
life. I kind of thought I might do that, but I don't know about that roller coaster thing. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm in the front of the line. Let's get on the roller coaster now. Let's go do it because you're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, this is really good because right now, the whole planet is pivotal into, this where we're at on it, right? And
Absolutely.
people are facing such huge challenges, not only in their quote professional life, but their emotional and their spiritual and all of it. And
Absolutely.
what kind of what kind of advice would you share with people right now in just getting through some of these obstacles?
Wow, that's a great question. I've thought about it a lot lately with all the things going on. And my recommendations would be this: be human and be authentic, right? Take the mask off. Don't allow whatever it is you do for your job to overtake who you are. Remember, everybody is going through something at some level. And with all the things that you can be in the world, choose to be kind. Because, and I, whenever I go out and we go out to eat or whatever, I have one goal. I am going, and you saw me when we were at the conference do this.
Right.
My job is to make sure that the people around me have at least one smile that day. even if I'm the one to give it to it, because that may be the only smile that they get all day, because you don't know what people are fighting through. And with me, I was out there. I didn't look like I was sick. I didn't look like I was on the verge of a fatal stroke. I looked like I do every single day. So you don't know what's bubbling underneath the surface. So as I said prior, of all the things we can be kind.
Mm, that's it right there. Boy, we don't want to have regrets. I know I've had regrets with people that passed before I fixed it, right?
Yep.
Or
Absolutely.
apologize.
We all have.
Yeah. And it's, I have to offer it up, but it's being kind, the simple thing of being loving and kind. I mean, guys, I look at this planet as schoolroom earth, and what's the lesson is love. That's
Yeah,
what we're supposed to do.
absolutely.
It's not complicated, right? Even a child.
Everything's perfect until humans get involved in it.
Exactly. Boy, they're crazy.
Yes, we
So
are.
it's easy for you to stay motivated and focused during tough times. But let me check in a little bit on some of your future goals, like personally, professionally. How are you going to integrate what you're doing and what are you up to inside it?
Well, another great question. So, what I was doing as a keynote speaker, I was out talking about things like how do you convert prospects to customers? How do you accelerate sales efficiency and create more profitability to lead to revenue? Since then, my primary speech has been on that 2% mentality around overcoming life's obstacles, right? Because now I can go and share how persistence unlocks not only potential, but it enables us to push through our setbacks, learn from failures, i.e., learn how to, as well as achieve our goals and build that just unwavering determination to challenge becoming, and use it as stepping stones to success and fulfillment. My job, and I know why I was back. I know what my purpose is, and it is to help others along their journey. I may not be able to make your life better, but if I can make it just a little easier, mission accomplished.
That's it right there. And the little things mean a lot. So,
They do.
In walking through with some people in my family that had to go through that process, say having a stroke and they can't feed and walk. And, that's quite a mission to do that at an older age and all the, ego things of, you're not as manly as you used to be. And that's quite a challenge. So you had to have quite a motivation to keep pushing, right? To keep taking that step.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
obviously your motivation was your 4 4s, I would say, right?
It was. And you know what? It's your why. Never forget your why.
Yeah.
People talk about determination all the time and inspiration. I don't feel like I can inspire anyone, but I can certainly give them some tools, some best practices of either how to, because I'm not perfect either. Also, how not to. If you see me stick my foot into the hole and it breaks my ankle, don't step in the hole. Walk around it. Right? Learn from me. Don't be the smart person that says, wait a minute. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome?
Yep.
Not how it works.
Exactly.
I'm not here to inspire. I am here literally to share the tools and the gifts that I've been blessed with. If I can do that, then you know what? I think life has been pretty amazing.
It is amazing, especially with people like you that really do care. And there's people that pretend to care, but my experience is it's sincere, but it's that way, when you've, had a near death experience in your back, there's a reality check and that's real.
There's a reality and a mortality check as well.
Right.
Because I've got far more sunsets behind me than sunrises in front of me. So I want to make sure that I can maximize every one of those, which also means helping other people to maximize theirs. It's not, you can't just be about yourself.
Yes. And that's, and that was kind of like in my midlife, I looked at my business, successful in this. And then at a certain point, it's like, okay, so you take that and then what is the give back? How can you take your gifts and shift it back. I mean, you can only drink one cup of coffee at a time or
Yes,
whatever, right? So
exactly.
you accumulate a nice life, and then take that blessing like you've done, and then shift it back on how you can help people.
Thank
And
you. Well, you said it best. I've never seen anybody with a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. But
right,
what you can do is leave a legacy
right.
of empathy and humanity and caring behind you,
Yeah,
because people may not remember what you said. They're not going to remember what I said in a keynote on a stage or in a book or whatever it may be. But what they will remember is exactly how you made them feel. I
right.
told my wife, and we were estate planning, right? And I said, and so it somehow turned into the funeral planning. And I know it sounds a bit morbid, but again, I'm a planner. Sue me,
Right.
right? So I said, here's the one rule that I have when people come up to speak. No one can ever talk about anything I did professionally, nothing I said in a speech, nothing they read in a book, nothing they saw in a video. They're only allowed to talk about how I made them feel. That's my goal.
Right. Yeah, and it really should be a celebration of life, not a
100%.
funeral,
Yeah. Yeah.
where
I
it's
love the New Orleans mentality. We're not going to have a funeral. We're going to have a party.
there you
That's what
go.
I want to have. A
Right.
celebration.
A celebration. Exactly. Exactly. Share with everybody some personal habits or routines like, you just don't whoop, you're there. There's a lot of intentionality to get to the way that you're thinking. And of
Thank
course,
you.
God's blessed you immensely.
Oh,
So,
immensely. I think the
you're
one thing that's really gotten here is I have this board up on my wall and it has three different columns. The first one is all the priorities, everything that I want to do and need to do. Then on the far right is all the things that I need to do in a short time frame. And then in the middle is, and it moves from right into the middle, from the left over to the right. So now I'm moving from that right side to today. Every single day before I look at my email, because that will change where the direction you're going, I write up four things, three things that I'm only going to do today. And I cannot turn off my laptop until I do those three things. And then the fourth one is one thing just for me personally that I'm going to do for me. Whether it's I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go for a walk, I may go get me a cinnamon roll today. Who knows, right? But it's going to be one thing just for me, because we tend to take care of everyone else and even talk to everyone else in way and to ourselves in ways we would never do with others. So it, unfortunately and fortunately, I have to be very intentional about giving grace to myself and also giving some love to myself too.
ooh, you hit me on that one. I had my secretary came over. She goes, "You're so hard on yourself." I go, "What do you mean hard on myself?"
But we all are. And that's what
No.
makes us quote unquote leaders and drivers and success.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
never forget that what you do during the day is just a character you play on TV. It's not who you are.
Right.
And that's what really matters, is who we are.
Exactly. That's the end all be all when you add everything up, and you know, it's living like you're living, not living like you're dying. But
Yeah,
in a sense,
absolutely.
it's almost living as you died that you're living, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. I now what's changed is I work to live. I don't live to work anymore. And I've now coined this word, and I don't know, it was me. I heard it somewhere.
Uh,
Workation,
right.
right? So that
Yeah.
way I don't feel like I have to go away. But if I do
Yeah.
go away, I'm not working. There will
Right.
be no work. It can wait until I get back unless it's an emergency. And I mean a dire emergency.
Yeah.
I have two phones, one for the family and then one for business. I've now stopped after 5 o'clock. I don't take my personal phone out with me.
Good for you. Good for you.
And I
Okay.
don't forward my stuff over to my personal phone anymore like I used to either,
Yeah. When you're right.
because I want to, you know what? I'm putting in all this hard work to provide and protect for my family and friends. I
Yeah.
want to be able to enjoy them. And my two favorite words now, be present.
Be present. Oh, good. Yeah,
Be present.
exactly. That's where all the goodies are, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you miss out on and the small things. And you said it. It's the small things that really matter.
It is the small things that really matter. And we're really carrying around our treasures, right? Which to
100%.
me, the value, money's for memories, but
Yeah.
the memories and the heart connection, like meeting you, like going through this quote tragedy turned into
Mhm.
is turning into a blessing. And
Absolutely.
like there was no coincidence. I don't believe in
No,
coincidence.
no.
There you
Hundreds of
are
people at that thing, and we wind up standing out in the hallway
in the
talking for a
hallway,
good hour.
right? Down
Right?
off some side, not even the
Yeah,
front.
exactly. I
Right.
mean, it was just supposed to happen, and I am so thankful that we did
Me
get a
too.
chance to meet because you have definitely enlightened my life.
Oh,
That's
well,
for certain.
that's how I felt about you because
Thank you.
that was God's timing when you showed up. And I'm just was in the roller coaster of emotion and
Hmm.
the way the world comes at you, you're lost. And I hate the word condolences. It was like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
with
lose
you.
anything. They're with me still. I'm holding on
Exactly.
to, but in reality, that's what we take as the heart connections and the joy that we get to share.
Yeah.
That's the money, right? That's the value.
The money comes and goes, though, Chris.
Yes, don't
And
it?
as I said earlier, I think a part of it is the selfishness as humans because
Mhm.
we are prepared, but you can never be ready to lose someone close to you.
No,
And that's why, and then the other thing is you have to allow yourself to go through all of the emotions, all the different stages of
right,
grief, right?
right.
Too many times we try and bottle up some. I don't have time for grief right now. Oh, as the guy that had the stroke, if you don't make time for things like that, your body will shut down on you and it will make time for you. And
Right.
you would prefer that it didn't do it for you because it's
Yeah.
not going to be anything that you would ask for Christmas or birthday. That's for sure.
You're so right. I could see that, it is and not judging. I
Yeah.
mean, and the grief isn't just losing someone physically. It could be divorce, it could be losing
Yeah.
your business and your
It
money
could
or
be
your
a
job or
job.
whatever.
It could be a pet. It could be anything. But you have to
Exactly.
allow yourself to go through all of the stages.
That's hard,
It is.
especially if you're an emotional person, but it's worth
Mhm.
it. It's worth it. As I
If
keep
you don't,
telling
it takes significantly longer. And I don't think you ever get over someone. You just learn to get through the pain.
right, right. And somehow I always have to change the conversation around that. It's, becoming purposeful.
Yeah.
So their pain or their suffering, I can now convert in some way that I'll be able to help people with this particular story and empower them. And
Yeah.
what you said earlier about living the legacy, that's what I always talk
Hmm.
about, not waiting till
Yes,
you die to live your legacy
exactly.
now with your family and your friends, right?
Well, we also have to look at it from a different set of lenses. This pain that I'm going through, is this for me or is it for someone else to learn from how I lived through it and deal with it?
Oh
For
yeah.
me, I always look at my kids and I say, all right, as I'm fighting through this thing, especially let's go back to the stroke, because I was fighting through it. I kept wondering and asking God, is this for me? Or is this so that the kids can see what grit and determination
Mm,
and faith and
yeah.
strength really looks like?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if I would have gone, I would have had no vote. If he said it was time, it was time. But
Right.
now they look at it and go, if my dad got through that, or my friend got through it, my brother, my nephew, my husband, if they can get through this, then you know what? I can fight too.
That's what really adds up. I mean, even just hearing you say this experience, and because I wasn't sure where that family member would end up in the, what chair you get in heaven or
Hmm.
something, right?
Hmm.
Because you didn't meet all these certain quotas that man
Right.
said, then, but their heart was as pure as
Maybe they just got in and they just in the back row. That's as far as it goes. You never know.
you don't,
Somebody's got to be on the front row and somebody's got to be in the
right.
back row.
But
But
there
you're
really,
there,
it's everybody's there, and it isn't a
of
higher or
course.
lower thing,
Absolutely.
but it's real. And you're honestly in conversation about it is so inspiring. We're going
Thank you.
to have more later.
I'd welcome that.
Have to have you come back. Gaia, honestly, I have like 2 pages of business sales strategy, broader business goals, first time managers, all of these questions. And the most important question is what we've talked about, honestly, right?
Well, I'd love to come back and let's answer those questions again together on another time.
Let's do that because, and we can drill down in your book because you've incorporated that experience, right?
Absolutely.
That 2% experience.
Absolutely.
Inside of it. And I just think it's hilarious that everybody has a different story, but your mom's like, you're not done yet.
Nope, not yet, baby. You got to go back.
And most people say, a lot, I've been listening, a lot are saying, I don't want to go back. It's painful in there.
I knew once my mom said that I didn't have a vote, and there's never been a time where I've argued with her and I've won. No. So it wasn't even worth it.
Right. She was
all I could say is, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. See that respect, even the obedience, honor your parents. Well, absolutely. She was in God's ear and, and knew that you would be able to help lots of people where you're at. And I'm really excited to see more of it. And we'll come back again, Roderick. Tell people about how to get your book, how do they get in touch with you?
Thanks, Kris. I appreciate that. I always say, if you can't find me on social media, you're not really trying, right? Because I'm out there. You can find me at LinkedIn at Roderick Jefferson, on Instagram at Roderick_J_Associates. You can find my book on Amazon or wherever you buy books, ebooks, audiobooks. And what I'll do is I will give you my link tree for the show notes, Kris, and that way all of those things will be in one location.
Perfect. That sounds great. Roderick, it's just been a complete honor and absolutely fun conversation. I wasn't expecting it at all. It was just live. And thank you so much for being with us.
Those are the best. Thanks for having me.
All right. God bless you.
You too.
Thank you, Roderick, for joining us on this episode of Money 911. Your insights on the 2% mentality and overcoming life's obstacles have truly been inspiring. We hope our listeners have gained valuable wisdom and motivation from your journey. Remember, no matter where you are on your path to financial health and personal growth, you have the power to create the life you truly desire. Stay tuned for more episodes. And until then, take care of your money and it will take care of you. There's so much to learn about healthy money. I hope today's discussion brings you one step closer to securing and protecting your future. So you can get started on the right foot, go to meetwithchrismiller.com and schedule your free financial fitness strategy session. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to Money 911 so you don't miss our next episode, which includes health, wealth, and peace of mind.